Hi! Oh my gosh. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another quick mini read, all right? Channel message, what I want to share with you guys. Um where I'm at on my blue twin flame journey. What I feel led to share with you from source God, all the above. What I want to talk about. Let me get, because I just found this deck. Well, not just found it. It was in my bed. So it found me. Haven't used it in a while. The Buddhism, the science of peace and happiness. So we're going to pull from this deck as we talk about our topic, okay? And the topic I want to talk about today is the science of peace. That's not what we want to talk about, but peace is sticking out, not letting people take your peace. But it's not about letting people take your peace, because I feel like someone here knows this already. But it's getting to a point of realizing, like, your connection with source, the divine, God, universal consciousness, or I like to say all of the above. You know, whatever you want to feel A through D with, that's what I'm talking about. All right. But I like to say all of the above, because it doesn't matter what you choose to fill A through D with, or all the above. It's always an option. All of the above, because this world literally makes up all of the above. All right. Whatever you fill A through D with. Okay. So with that being said, like, it's funny because a lot of times we try to understand. Some of us try to understand not each other, yes, each other, but not only each other, but how things work. You know, and this world is included in how things work. And some of us are just inquisitive about how things work, you know, and then we're going to relate how things work to how we believe things work for us. And we apply that. And it comes a time for that. But then there also comes a time when you realize that instead of figuring out how things work for others, you just learn to accept how things work for you. And you're not trying to share that. You're not trying to convince someone of that. You're not trying to show that. You're just going to exist with that, with the knowing of how it works for you. And it will be difficult at times, and sometimes you're led to share, because at one point, we're getting these today. At one point, you know, you shouldn't be afraid to share what you're led to share, you know, especially when it's His word. And that was spoken to me in a dream, which was confirmed in my reality. So at any point, I'm not afraid to share His word, you know, but not being afraid to share is different from knowing when to share, or just simply just not sharing. You know, just not sharing doesn't mean I'm afraid to share. When I feel led and that gut feeling says, hey, say this, or this needs to be said, or, you know, I follow that gut feeling before I follow someone else. But sometimes it's not worth it, especially when you know someone is triggering you, or they're doing things for their entertainment and opposed to actually trying to understand you. You know? Excuse me, y'all, for confirmation. I always come in here so late. It's not even super late, but it's time for me to go to bed. But I'll take these two. So I got my 4. But yeah, so it's just like, you know, I know me personally, I've always felt like I hate when people try to say try to have the last word. Because it's usually them that's trying to silence me. And I thought I had to sneeze. It's usually them that's trying to silence me. So I always took that as, I'm not trying to have the last word, but allow me to have a word, you know? And then that took me to a point of realizing I don't have to have a word. And then that took me to a point of realizing being selective on when to have a word, you know? And now where I'm at with that, it's like when you realize, you know, you're connected to all is you, a reflection of you. It's like, well, I don't have to share now, you know? Like, I want to say this, what's the point? But it's like, when you're on a certain frequency now, and it's just, I assume you get it. And I know some people don't. And of course I come here to share, like, this is different. Like, this is my my way of, you know, venting, getting it out, helping the next person. But it's like, I don't assume people know, but I assume that the part of you that I assume knows. You may not consciously know, and that's okay. But then again, that's not the part I'm talking to. The part that knows what I'm talking about knows. And I trust that. Just like I know. And consciously, you might not know what I'm talking about. But the part that I'm talking to knows. And when you know that, I don't need to explain. And that's the energy I'm trying to move more toward. I am moving more toward, okay? It just takes the realization of getting there. So we don't need to explain, because we already know. Who you're trying to explain to already knows. They might not know consciously. They might know subconsciously. Who knows? But we know. Attachment. I just pulled this yesterday. Attachment 24. Extending love, kindness to your partner is the secret to sustaining a healthy relationship. Okay, so, and I did a thorough shuffle on these cards. I mean, I was shuffling off camera, okay? Extending loving kindness to your partner is the secret to sustaining a healthy relationship. Yeah, it is. But in relating to what I'm talking about, you know, that's why you're not going out the way trying to explain. Now for confirmation, you're not going out the way to be upset. You're not going, you know, you're that's part of extending this loving kindness to your partner. You are your partner. The divine is your partner. Your union to all of the above is your partner. The reflection is your partner. You are my partner. I am my partner. We are our partners. And by sustaining this relationship, this kindness to yourself and to others, you know, you're doing yourself a service by not indulging in certain energies anymore. Because why? Why? You know? Because why? Because why? Appreciation 42. All right, so we just had 24, and now we got 42. I just comment on a video 42 as well. The self-grasping mentality eats away at your merits and jeopardizes our efforts to attain happiness for ourselves and our friends. Consider whether your motivation is pure or driven by a need to be appreciated. Self-grasping mentality eats away at your merits and jeopardizes our efforts to attain happiness. Yeah, so like explaining to someone something that they know, they just don't remember. It's like we all know the same thing. It's just a matter of us remembering it or not. Those of us that remember will remember. Those of us that don't remember, don't remember. But we all know all the same information and just getting to a point of remembering it. And those that remember this, you don't have to explain. Those that don't, waste your time explaining. But back to what I was saying, as far as self-grasping mentality eats away at your merits and jeopardizes your efforts, is because you're only explaining for yourself. It's a self-grasping mentality. It's to make you feel better. Because half the time that person is probably not even listening. It might not be their time to listen. It might not be your job to explain to them. Who knows? You know? I mean, if you feel led to share, by all means, follow that gut, follow that intuition first. But for the most part, if I am sharing with someone because I feel the need to share, you know, it's like me imposing my own will, which I'm trying to move out of, you know, because you just realize it's just not needed. It's not necessary. I'm over it. I am throwing in the towel, waving the white flag at this point, because I've gone through all the stages of explaining. I wouldn't even say all the stages, but I've gone through enough to know. You know, I don't have to have the last word. I don't have to have a word. I can just sit back and listen. And that's who you know, who knows the word. The real word. 1, innocent mind. Actions leave imprints in your mind that dissolve like writings on water. Thus, you have the ability to change your habits. And isn't that what we're talking about? And actions do leave imprints. I mean, that's what we're saying. We won't be in that turmoil. You know, for confirmation, we won't be in that turmoil in, you know, that person not listening, and I need to say this, and need to do that. Oh, to go back to what I was saying too, also, because it's all your connection with the divine, with God, with all the above, with the universe, with source. You know, you don't have to explain your connection. Even though you're happy, even though you're eager, because everyone's going to have their own connection to source, if they're lucky, you know? So, like, it's true. Y'all, for confirmation. And that's when you have the ability to change your habits. When you start realizing this connection and then start developing on it, man, it just makes you more so appreciative for what you have. And then you stop worrying about what other people have or don't have. Karmic effects, 37. Negative karma shows up as obstacles that block the source of happiness. The virtuous choice, the way to overcome obstacles, is to rely on powerful source of virtue. Yeah, if you just stay true to your connection to source, it just focus on that, okay? Just focus on your connection, how you do things. Don't try to convince. Don't try to persuade. No, you can. But why? Why? You don't have to. 42. There's another 42. You really don't have to. That's the crazy part. Negative karma shows up as obstacles that block the source of happiness. Don't be the one that blocks your source of happiness. All right. I keep yawning. I'm about to get out of here, you guys. Before I go, let's just take a breath for someone else. All day long, we breathe unconsciously for ourselves. So let's just take a moment to breathe for someone else. Whether they're here with us, whether they know that you're thinking or breathing about them, you know. So on the count of 3, we're going to inhale and then we're going to exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale and exhale. Oh, I should have went live. I'll go live tomorrow. For sure. All right. Yeah, let's just give thanks to E all the above. You can feel A through D of whatever you want. And that's the joy. You know, get in where you fit in. Find your own connection. Don't take my word for it. Life gets better, I promise. All right. I love you. I love me. I love us. I love we. And I will talk to you guys another day. Bye.